Japanese soldier in Guam.
In Guam, and because there's still an active military base there. There's a lot of flights coming in and out. So he was like, "Oh, the war, war's still on," you know. And it's like
you see military planes flying
Yeah, it's
overhead.
crazy.
Like, what else do you think is going on?
Was it the one was the last Japanese soldier found on Guam? Is that
1972?
Wow.
That's crazy.
Years of service, 1941 and 45, and then in parentheses, 1972.
Just 30 years after that.
Just imaginary service was the other 30 years.
Playing pretend.
Yeah, but like for real.
But for real. Playing pretend for real.
The realest version of
and
pretend.
Post-war survival. So, hold on. So,
God, this sucks, though.
So, Soichi Yokoi, born 31st of March, 1915, died in 1997, was a sergeant in the Imperial Japanese Army during the Second World War, and was one of the last 3 Japanese holdouts to be found after the end of hostiles in 1945. He was discovered in the jungles of Guam on the 24th of January, 1972, almost Ryan's entire life, 28 years later after U.S. forces had regained control of the island in 1944.
That is crazy.
Initially, Yokoi served with the 29th Infantry Division in Manchukuo. In 1943, he was transferred to the 38th Regiment in the Mariana Islands and arrived on Guam in February 1943. When American forces captured the island in 1944 in the Battle of Guam, Yokoi went into hiding with 9 other Japanese soldiers. 7 of the original 10 eventually moved away, and only 3 remained in the region. These men separated, but visited each other periodically until about 1964, when the other 2 died in a flood. For the last 8 years, Yokoi lived alone. He survived by hunting, primarily at night. He also used native plants to make clothes, bedding, and storage implements, which he carefully hid in his cave. Which we're screen recording, right? Because I'm pulling
100%.
up. Oh my God!
Time to store my leaves in my leaf drawer.
My leaf drawer made of leaves.
I'll put
Made
my
a
leaves
fucking
in
cave
here.
out of bamboo. He hid in the jungle, fearing he might be captured by American soldiers occupying the southern islands of Japan. No one told him the war was over. On the evening of the 24th of January 1972, Yokoi was discovered by 2 local men checking shrimp traps along a small river on Talafafo. I'm not saying any of this right, and I'm sorry. They had assumed Yokoi was a villager from Talafafo, but he thought his life was in danger and attacked them. They managed to subdue him and carried him out of the jungle. Yokoi later said that he expected the local men to kill him at first, but was surprised when instead they allowed him to eat hot soup at their home before turning him over to the authorities. He was in relatively good health, but slightly anemic due to a lack of salt in his diet, according to doctors. His diet included wild nuts, mangoes, papaya, shrimp, snails, frogs, and rats. It was with much embarrassment that I returned, he said upon his return to Japan in March 1972. The remark quickly became a popular saying in Japan. He had known since 1952 that World War II had ended, but feared coming out of hiding, explaining, "We Japanese soldiers were told to prefer death to the disgrace of getting captured alive."
Oh, so this guy was actually cosplaying. Like, he knew the war was over and just decided not to come out? Is that what you're saying here, Ed?
That's, I think, what they're saying.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Feared coming out of hiding, explaining that we Japanese soldiers were told to prefer death. I'm pretty sure he must have assumed...
Yeah, he had known.
He must have known the war was over by 52.
Yeah.
But assumed that Japan lost, and probably assumed that any Japanese soldier would be eradicated or captured instead of, like, welcomed back into a Japanese society.
I mean, this is the fact that it is with much embarrassment that... Ed, stop scrolling. Scroll back up. There you go. It is with much embarrassment that I return. The remark quickly became a popular saying in Japan. He became a meme. This man is a meme.
Oh my God.
That's awful.
He became a meme. That's hilarious.
Do you guys know what the definition of a meme is?
No.
Anything that can be replicated. A meme is something that can be repeated. That is what a meme is.
Doesn't it also carry usually like cultural significance or like cultural information?
That's simply it. Something that can be repeated. There is no other pretense
The
to it.
cultural significance may be one of those things where, like, the definition kind of changes with slang, you know? But later life, after a whirlwind media tour of Japan, Yokoi married and settled down in rural Aichi Prefecture. He became a popular television personality and an advocate of simple living.
You should also make everything out of leaves.
He was featured in a 1977 documentary film called Yokoi and His 28 Years of Secret Life on Guam, which we need to watch right now. He eventually received the equivalent of $300 in back pay and a small pension. Although he never met Emperor Showa, while visiting the grounds of the imperial palace, Yokoi said, "Your Majesties, I have returned home. I deeply regret that I could not serve you well. The world has certainly changed, but my determination to serve you will never change." Yokoi died in 1997 of a heart attack at the age of 82 and was buried at Nagoya Cemetery under a gravestone that had originally been commissioned by his mother in 1955 after Yokoi had been officially declared dead.
Wow.